Joining us today. We're going to go ahead and give everyone about 2 to 3 more minutes to join us, and then we'll get started. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today's webinar is going to be on how to get more phone calls from your website. Because of the information from this webinar that you will learn about SEO, Google Places, online directories, and how to tie it all together, you will better know how to position your company online and get your phone ringing. You should be able to hear us now. If you can't, please reference the number and access code provided to you via email or call 800-982-9862, extension 225 for help. During the presentation, the lines will be muted. We have reserved time to take questions at the end of the presentation, so please submit any questions you may have during the presentation in the chat box, and they will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Our speakers today are Lisa Jones, the President at Business Direct Marketing, and John Kendall, an online marketing specialist at Business Direct Marketing. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Lisa Jones.
Thank you, Heather. Well, again, I would like to thank everyone for taking the time today to learn about digital marketing, online marketing, because it's changing so quickly of the digital history and the importance of online marketing. So we're going to cover a lot of information really quickly. We're going to have questions at the end, as Heather said, and be sure and write those down and submit those to us. So we're going to cover, number one and most importantly in today's marketplace, is we've got to continue attracting customers, how we're going to do that through all the digital online. And then secondly, once we get those, how are we going to retain those customers to keep them coming back and to capture all the data for them? As we have seen, if you think about just back to 1992, maybe it wasn't a brick phone, but it was close to the brick phones that we had, and everyone was rushing to get a website. And the website basically consisted of a static online brochure. Everyone would put their website address on their marketing piece and say, go to our website to read more. As it's changed over the years, we've seen such a dynamic from going to static websites to searches online with consumers trying to find products and services and information. So today, in 2013 and moving on, it's all about connecting with people. It is where today's yellow pages of the phone book used to be is now directories online. It's connecting and chatting with friends. It's asking for referrals and obtaining information. And it is the world that we live in, and it's continuing to evolve even more and more so with the mobile marketing. So a lot of facts, as you know, everyone on this call knows a lot of the marketing facts and the statistics, and so we're not the first one to tell you that America is shopping online, is buying online. You're seeing a lot of change and shift from brick and mortar to more online. And 90% of businesses now are getting their new business and new customers from the SEO that they've done and driving them to the web. And the importance of local search is growing and will continue to grow as 74% of the internet users perform a local search. So they're putting in not only clothing in Houston, Texas, they're putting specific information. And what's so important is Google owns the web and optimizes the web, is the positions in the top 5 spots of Google are the ones that are going to get 50% of the business. So we're going to talk about attracting those customers and then keeping those and the strategies for those. And once we've gained the business and gained these consumers' trust, we'll talk about the strategies for keeping the engagement and creating lifelong customers and lifelong loyalty. So one thing that's so important, if you don't have today a digital marketing strategy, I would urge you that this be the first part on your list. And the marketing strategy, not only including your website, which is so important, but also getting your arms around local search and all the social media. And we're going to show you a little bit more with John talking on how it's not enough to just be online, but more important, you've got to get found. And John's going to share with us some very important information on getting found online. And the first component, of course, starts with the SEO and the SEO strategy. So John, I'll turn it over to you at this time to share more on this topic with us.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I'm grateful for all of you that got on the webinar, and we'll kind of just jump into it so we can be very productive, and I welcome any questions that you all have. You hear the term SEO. There's probably 2 different types of people on this call. Some of you already know what SEO stands for, that search engine optimization, and are maybe very familiar with some of the things, components that go into it. And then there's others that might just go, I don't know what SEO is. I've heard people say it. Help me understand it. Really is. It's a very vague word or phrase, because really, what is SEO? Let's think about an SEO strategy, because if you look at this next slide, you'll notice that SEO could apply to a lot of different things. Think of, you could do SEO for your Twitter, your YouTube, your Facebook. You could do it for your website, for your online directories, your blogging. It really can encompass a lot of different things, and if your SEO isn't focused on the correct aspects and things that provide the greatest return, that ROI, then your SEO actually might not be that effective. So we want to help you and give you some good tips on improving SEO. So really, this is where it starts. When we talk about all of these topics, these are what you need to focus on. Have plenty of keyword-rich and quality content. And so a lot of people are always going, well, how do I go after the right keywords, or how do I put in the right content? If any of you are taking notes, this is one note you'll for sure want to take. If you're actually on a Google search, you're on your computer, write down Google Keyword Tool. If you type in that into the search bar and click on the first link, Google will actually let you research what people are typing in. So if you're in the industry of the AC repair, if you're in the industry as an optometrist, you can actually type in AC repair, and it will tell you what other people are typing in, the next top 50 searches, and how many times that search is applicable. So if it was in Houston, Texas, or if it were in Madison, Wisconsin, you can actually find out how many people in your city are searching that exact phrase. So it's a great thing to do, so you go after the right keyword. Fresh content, that's where we'll talk more about a blog and YouTube, making sure you give your website a heartbeat. Simple URL, majority of you probably already have a website. This can help you if your domain name is applicable to your industry. It's not a make or break thing, but it is helpful if you can have that URL associated with your industry. And then, most importantly, name, address, phone number. You'll hear me go over this quite a few times as we talk about this, making sure that you are putting your name, address, phone number in a multitude of places, not just on directories and so forth. A strategy, make sure any type of SEO that you all do, it revolves around two things. One is your on-page website optimization, and the other is your Google Places. Because you'll be doing SEO is all these things you're doing externally for the most part and pushing traffic. It's because if you get traffic and people can find your phone number, what does that do? Your phone rings, and that's, at the end of the day, that's all we care about is, hey, make my phone ring, and that's worth my time, that's worth my investment. So there is a difference between on-page and off-page optimization, and then Google Places. Everything you do, Google is going to reference back to that, and I'm including Yahoo and Bing and so forth, but please understand the strategy needs to make sure those are your two cornerstones, or the nucleus of what you're trying to accomplish. So let's talk about some more tips for improving. This screenshot, if you were to use our company or if you were to use anyone else, this is what you should be asking for in a company. A lot of people will ask me, hey, what should I be looking for in an SEO company or an online marketing company? And I go, if they're doing these things on all these bullet points, you're probably got a good company, and emphasis on doing it correctly. Registering your website, you can register it every year. If you're in a position, registering that domain can cost you anywhere from $100 to $200, depending on how expensive your domain name was. If you can register up to 5 years, Google does give you a little brownie point because they assume you would have not paid for 5 years for that domain if you weren't going to be in business. So you do get a reward if you can register for all 5 years. Optimize your local search. This is where a lot of people will mess up. If you're banking is just so generic, saying banking, small business loan. You actually need to say small business loan, Omaha, Nebraska, or AC repair in Fresno, California. Make sure you're going after local searches. Include that. It's not Google's job to put the two together. They need to be in that same sentence. Multiple online directories we'll touch more about. Optimizing the image. You'll hear me say this a lot. Google doesn't have eyeballs, but it can do one thing extremely well, and that's read. So you need to make sure you title your images. Otherwise, Google doesn't know if it's a picture of a speedboat, of a golfer, someone walking a dog. So you need to title your images. Linking videos, you'll see some pretty powerful stuff about how powerful videos are and how many people search it. Social media, out of all these, is the least important. There's a time and a place for it, but you do need to take advantage of those links that you can get from the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube. But Facebook and Twitter, you'll hear me talk more about. They are the least ROI, return on investment, for SEO. So let's kind of jump into something I'm passionate about that people see the greatest return, and that's blogging. Now with blogging, I think of it more as a news feed. And that's why on searches, blogging pull up so high, or news stations pull up so high, because it's fresh and it's current information. That's why I describe it. It's like giving your website a heartbeat. Google doesn't know if you're a $20 million bank, or a 150 or actually more than $1 billion bank. Google has no idea. It doesn't see all the money in your safe. It doesn't see people coming in and out of your store or location. But what it can do, it can tell if you're active on the internet. And by blogging, Google goes, wow, you must be in business. And so it generates a lot of traffic, which in turn makes people come more to your website. So people will ask me, well, I don't know what to blog about. There's different industries. Some are very interesting and have a lot to talk about. Others go, my industry is boring. It might be, not a lot of people want to get AC tips. Not a lot of people want to get garage door opening tips. Or a thing I get is people in the financial industry say, I have a lot of restrictions and I don't know what to talk about. So here's a great way to get great SEO and tell a story at the same time. A bank I do counsel work with is they go, well, we have all these restrictions. We can't talk about certain things. So I told them, well, they want to pop up really high for a small business loan. So a blog, Google gives a lot of emphasis on how you title it and then integrating a few of those keywords. So I went and put this bank, we'll call it ABC. ABC Bank sponsors local soccer game. And so it goes into it, and this is the opening sentence. We at ABC Bank that offer small business loans love to help the community. This week we sponsored the high school girls soccer game. And then it just gave 2 paragraphs about that girls soccer game, and in closing it says, but not only does ABC Bank love sponsoring the local community, it loves helping people with small business loans, loans with real estate and commercial lending, and that's all it said. So it was able to still integrate some of those keywords and not get to any legal jargon or anything that would put them in an unsafe place in regards to regulations. And then allow yourself to create credibility and become the expert. If you're in the heating and AC, give tips out. Tell people how often you change your filters. Tell them signs, or, ways to save money on the bill to keep it between 69 and 72. People love going to an expert. I know me and my wife, we are penny pinchers, but we'll pay a little extra to go with an expert. So those are some of the things that you can be doing with your blogging.
So that was good, John. Before we go into Google Local and talk a little bit more about search, we do have a question, if you would repeat the search terms that you need to go to for Google keywords.
Yes. So imagine if you guys are on Google, and then right in the center there's the huge search bar. Type in Google Keyword Tool. So Google Keyword Tool. And it will be the very top search, and you'll click on it, and once you click on it, you'll actually be able to type in, we'll say you're heating and AC. Type in AC repair in Houston, Texas, HVAC repair, Houston, Texas, heating and ductwork. And then what you'll do is you'll press search, and it will actually give you the next 50 searches associated with that. And you'll find out, oh, 200 people search this every month, or 2,000 people search this. And now, with that information, you know which keywords to go after. Where in our industry, you might think people are typing that in. They might type in SBA loan, or they might actually spell it out, small business loan. And there's actually times, a lot of our clients, people spell the word wrong. We just found out one of our clients, no one knows how to spell Premier. I bet the majority on this call, if I asked you to spell Premier, would leave the E off at the end. And he came back to us and goes, hey, I'm frustrated. Your staff doesn't know how to spell. We found out there was, for his search, 250 people spelled Premier wrong, and then only 50 people spelled it right. So for him to be the top of Google, he actually spelled Premier wrong, and it made his phone ring more because he was dominating what people were looking. So great question.
Good. That was very helpful, John. So now moving into a very important category that's continuing to growing is all about Google and how they've changed their algorithms for Google Local. So if you could talk to us a little bit about the Google Places and the importance of it.
No problem. This area of Google Places, and just in case you've heard people talking about it, it could come across as a few different titles. Some people call it Google Places, some call it Google Local, some will call it Google Plus, but they all are really just the same thing, and it is imperative that you focus on this. This is, believe it or not, this is more important than your website. The reason why, think in your own industry. If you were to type in pediatric care in Frisco, Texas, or eye doctor in Tampa, Florida, on all your searches, the very top two, usually you'll see two paid ads kind of highlighted, and right below that, you'll see an A, B, C, D, F, G, and then after that, that's when the actual websites come into place. So if you want to beat everyone's website, you just optimize your Google Place correctly, because Google assumes you're trying to pull up local information, and that's why it has Google Places, because it's going to pull up the top 5 or top 7, and it never pulls up more than 7. So you need to understand, if you're not in the top 7, you won't be found. And so let me tell you some of the reasons of how you can get to the top or on that first page, and the difference from those that are not on the top. The first thing is, people don't realize is people don't pay for Google Places. They're just optimizing it correctly. You know, that the top 5 searches get 50% of all the business. So if there's, we'll say, 15 people in your industry, just know the top 5 get 50, and the other 10 companies are actually fighting for that last 50. And that's consistent in almost any industry. So here's a great example where she typed in dental office in Houston, Texas. You'll see that map on the right, all those dots. Those are the Google Places, and people are looking for local places. And people that think Midtown Dentistry paid for that, or Southern Dental Associates, no. It's just they've correctly optimized it so that they pull up higher. And there's others that have Google Places. They just don't rank because of not monetizing it correctly, putting in those keywords and content where they should.
Well, and the thing about this being so crucial is there are a lot of consumers that have the assumption, which is not correct, that Google must feel here Midtown Dentistry is ranked A and then B, C, D, E, F as far as they've ranked the companies. But really and truly, it's not about that at all. It's just that they have such powerful optimization, they're able to take this top position. And as you see on the slide, the people that are on page 1 and even better on page 1 in Google Places for local are going to get more phone calls than someone that's on page 2, 3, 4, and 5.
You're exactly right.
So let me pop back here to the screen. Sorry, John. There we go.
So we'll jump to this next slide. So some of the top priorities when claiming it, 99% of people I talk to that say they've already claimed it didn't do it correctly. So a lot of people go, no, don't worry, I did it right. I called Google. They sent me a 4-digit PIN code in the mail, and I put in the code, and I filled everything out. And there's a good chance you may have done that. And this is the next questions I would ask. I would say, did you put in all 10 images and title them, and did you upload the 5 videos that Google Places allow you to do? And 99% of the time they say no and no. If you have not done that, you have really probably not completed about 70-80% of what you need to get great success with your Google Places. So check that. If you have it, you need to do it through a company like us or internally if you have a team to take care of that. You know, make sure your website is optimized for that local search. Continue to build great content, and that those keywords match.
What I think too, John, if you could tell us a little bit, I think that with citations is maybe a little confusing. I know when I get a citation, it's normally a traffic ticket and it's a bad thing, but actually online, citations are really important. And so if you could expand on this a little bit more for the audience.
Citation, yes, it's not a bad thing. A citation is good. Think of it as I always call it map. if you want something good to write down, NAP, standing for name, address, phone number. That is crucial, crucial. The more places you can have your NAP, that creates a citation every time they go, oh, there's your business name, there's your address, and there's, could be even a URL link, a phone number. Google is a huge brownie point because Google doesn't know if you're in business or if it's the right information. So by having multiple citations, it greatly rewards you because Google goes, wow, now I know for a surety that your name, address, and phone number are correct. So it's a great thing, and that's what you hear when people go, oh, I'm creating citations. They're getting your name, address, phone number out there in as many places they can, which will help you rank higher. So great question. Other things to do with your Google Places, we touched on most of these. Make sure the videos, you just need to get them out there. We'll talk here in a minute about YouTube. Don't be scared about it. Have those implemented on the back end. You won't see it on the front end. When you log in to your Google Place, you'll be able to see where there's a place to add the 5 videos, upload your images. Even if you don't have hours, like 9 to 5, put in some type of hours because Google is pulling this information and it rewards you for that. So I always tell people fill out everything that Google offers you or asks you to do.
Okay, so now we'll go on and talk a little bit about online directories. And I think the best way to describe an online directory is basically it's taking the old phone books and yellow pages that we had in our desktop drawer, and it's now all online. So when someone goes to search in multiple areas, you want to make sure that your company is in all of those directories, and literally across the web, there's hundreds of them. So, John, if you could talk to these points a little bit more.
No problem. When associated with the online directories, please understand these directories, I'm not telling people search on them, but they're referenced throughout the Internet. Again, that's that NAP, that name, address, phone number. These are things to remember. Make sure your information is correct. And here's a huge thing. Make sure it's consistent. This is where people mess up when they're putting their information. In one directory, they'll say they're in, we'll say, Madison, Wisconsin. And another one, they'll put Madison, comma, WI. Well, yes, they're the same. You and I would look at it and go, oh, that's the same. Google goes, oh, one's Wisconsin, one has the acronym WI. It's not Google's job to figure it out. If you can have that one match all your other directories, you just need to choose. You're going to have all of them say Wisconsin or all of them say WI. Google will reward you for that. It wants consistency. It wants everything to mesh, and it wants it correct, not variations where in one directory I go after different keywords, and this one I go after a few different. No. You'll go higher, reach higher, if you're always trying to match your keywords. You'll see, we'll look at this next slide where you can see a good example of your Google Place for what goes into like a listing. Here's a Google Place where it allows you to put in that content, about 120 characters, pull up a map. Some allow you to put in your hours of operation, a URL link to your website. You've probably heard of these directories: Manta, Merchant Circle, Super Pages, Dexnose, YP.com, local.com. I always tell people, I personally have never gone to YP.com and then search for something. And I'll be the first to tell you I wouldn't pay to be in there, but there are free listings inside of there, and Google references it. Even though Google and Yahoo are competitors, Google will go to Yahoo's directory and go, oh, is that information correct? And if it is, it will push up higher on Google. And so it goes down through all the different directories.
Well, and another important aspect, especially, say, with Yellow Page or some of these other directories, a lot of cell phones automatically go to a different search. And if the consumer hasn't changed that back to Google, they don't even know it, but they're doing search on another one of these local directories. So it's real important that you have your listings in there, and as John says, that your name, address, and phone number, and ideally this is something I want to re-emphasize, it's so crucial, is to have one tracking phone number across the web. It's going to help your optimization and also give you a way to track how many leads you got every single month, and how your online traffic is growing.
You're exactly right, Lisa. Thank you for adding that on. I forgot that important thing. So now we're going to talk about social media, and I think we're going to take a little different approach than you may have expected. We offer social media, and I'm one of the first to say that you should spend little to none on social media because of what that ROI is, that return on investment. So we'll go over some stats, and then hopefully you'll see the approach I recommend you take or what we found to be the most successful. So let's look at a few stats.
Okay, and John, I think some people are having some trouble hearing you, so maybe if you could talk a little bit louder, please.
A little louder?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, no problem. Well, I can raise my voice. That's not a problem. In regards to social media, here's just your stats. We're seeing a huge growth in Facebook. We know it's non-public. It's over 900 million users. I believe Twitter's close to 300 million users. Pinterest. This is not for every business. I believe there's a place for it because of some of the authoritative links that come from it. But it is, I'm showing you just to show there is a growth. And as this next slide will show, it's not just your junior high, high school students, and even 21 to 28-year-olds. Obviously, it's about 50-50 for men and women. But over the age of 25, you're looking at 70% of the social media group is over the age of 25. I mean, even over 30% is over the age of 45. I'm 32, and I look at it. When I was in college, there was not social media. That wasn't that long ago. So to see those type of numbers, you're just seeing a growth of that social media. And I'm not here to say those are buying people. They're probably like my mom and dad that are just there to see their grandchildren. And they're not there looking for an HVAC deal or looking for a church to go to. They're just there to interact with family members.
Right. It's connecting with people, and that is important. But more importantly, I think, as you said earlier, is the value of these authority links for your SEO. By just having a Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter corporate pages that are properly on your website is going to give you the value SEO juice that you need.
You're exactly right, because it gets a very authoritative link, and so you understand what that is. When people build links to your website, links mean, oh, it must be good, and Google pushes you up. There's a difference between a link coming from the Philippines and a link from Facebook. So Facebook's giving you an opportunity to get this very powerful link just by putting your own link on there. But if you had 200 links from somewhere, some small country, Google goes, well, that's nothing, and it won't push you up. I mean, as I look at this icon, these are just staples now. The YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they're on almost every commercial. They're on business cards. They're on vehicle wraps. Even if you listen to the radio, like us on Facebook, watch our YouTube video. So even if they can't show it visually, they're still talking about it. So it's one of those things you just need to be involved, but it's going to be a slow process. You don't need 1,000 likes. You don't need 500 likes. You just need 75 or 200 quality likes. That's something you need to look at. It's going to be a slow process. You don't need to be spending a lot of time on it, but you need to be involved. And something I believe, Facebook and Twitter, you'll hear me say, the ROI is not highly there for most businesses. But YouTube is drastically different. We see great success with our clients, and there are a few reasons why. Google owns YouTube, so actually, if you don't know, Google is the second largest search engine in the world. It's not Yahoo, it's not Bing. And now, I love this, the one in red text where it says 500 years of YouTube videos are watched on Facebook every single day. Now, that's not just on YouTube, that's actually on Facebook. People watch YouTube. I've been surprised where you could write one sentence, and if they had to choose a choice between reading one sentence or watching a 45-second clip, they'd rather watch the 45-second clip. And so if you do it correctly and title your YouTube videos, you can have great success by pushing traffic to your website, doing things that would create education and getting your phone to ring at the end of the day because you're the expert. So some of the things for using it successfully, I always try to educate. Don't be afraid. I have huge clients from attorneys to banks to even your AC, your lawn care. They go, oh, I've got to spend $1,000 or $5,000 on a very quality video. Going back to what I've said, Google doesn't have eyeballs. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't judge you on makeup. Doesn't judge you on the quality. Doesn't judge you on the length. It just goes on how you title your YouTube video and 120 characters you put in there and how you tag it. And that's how you can rank extremely high. So then we want to distribute to not just YouTube, but Dailymotion, Metacast, Vimeo. Those are all different video sites you can put it on. Promote it. Put YouTube videos inside your website. Put YouTube videos on your Facebook page. These are great things you can do to generate traffic, and it can be a call to action. Your video should be 30 seconds. Say, this is John Kendall. I'm with company ABC. If you need more help, just give us a call, and we can answer all your questions. People would be more apt to watch that than just a post that you might put on there. So don't be afraid. Facebook, just so we respect everyone's time, those that have more questions, I welcome to come in and I can answer at the end, or also call and I can go in more. Facebook I've just been blown away by how much it's changed ever since it went public. And it doesn't matter if you have 4,000 likes, just be educational. And my recommendation, I would never post more than 3 times a week. Most companies, I tell them to post once a week. You don't need to put a lot of time into it. It's going to be a slow quality list you're trying to build. So yes, use it because it's not going anywhere. Just think of it as this way. You're trying to create a digital asset that's going to be very applicable in 3 years, in 10 years. Just all the people that are in high school and college that, when they're in buyers and they're your ideal client, it's going to be integrated into their everyday system. Right now, it's big, but it's only going to get bigger, and just take it the correct paces to do that. You don't need to rush it. Effective tips with Facebook, we've kind of touched on this. Don't push. Worst thing you can do is just say sell, buy, 20% off this, every day. I've unfortunately had to unlike my friends' pages because they're just doing this way too often. Allow it to just be a platform where you can answer questions, you can educate, you can write a funny comment once a week, you can give an inspirational thought. If you're going to promote it, this is how you should promote it. People would say, hey, will you post on our page? Well, if your page only has 50 likes or 200 likes, well, they just posted on people that have already liked your page. If I went to a client's home and we just put an AC unit in their home, I would say, hey, we hope you've liked the quality of our work. I would love for you to post on your personal page about our products and service that we fulfilled. That's what you want, because now it's going to 300, 500, maybe even 1,500 of their friends. So that's how you should be using Facebook. Tell them to put it on their page. You're not just, slowly build yours, but get it out there where they're sharing it with their family and friends. Twitter is, I laugh at it. We use it. We see a little bit of success from it. Most people on this call, Twitter is great for a news feed to get information, but it doesn't need to be a focal point. With our clients, I know Lisa always says ROI, return on investment. And so, when you do a blog post or video, you can tweet it out, but having a staff member put a lot of time onto it, I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, everyone's budgets are tight. Invest a little bit of time in Twitter where it might be once a week for 5 minutes you get on there. But it's growing, and you're going to see it be more involved, where it's involved with TV shows and different things. But there is a time and a place for it, and I think most people, as I look who's on the call, I don't think it's an area you need to focus on. But again, it's a great authoritative link to have on your website and a place where you can get your information out. But it doesn't need to be a focal point.
So, John, real quickly, we're running out of time here. So the last segment is We've talked about how to obtain customers through online and your online strategies. But once you've obtained them, how are we going to keep them and how are we going to keep them coming back? And so we'll go through a couple of things. I think that the old statement that data is king, data still is king, but most importantly is you've got to capture their information and make it easy to capture. If you don't have a contact page on your web form, make sure that you get one and try to capture as much information as you can. Cell phones, day phone, night phone, email. Of course, they're going to take this information once you get it and then implement it into an email marketing strategy. So email marketing is still very, very powerful. It's very targeted. It cuts straight through the clutter. And it's going to improve the chances that your message are going to be seen with these customers. So let them know that types of email campaigns that you may do is let them know educational information about your product. Maybe it's a green product or maybe it's going to help them save energy or something of this nature. You can have promotional emails. I wouldn't focus just on promotional. So you want to be informative, so you're providing them with knowledge. So focus on best practices in your industry. And last but not least, focus on personal relationships, because at the end of the day, companies deal with companies, but companies are made up of people and the people that they connect and deal with. So let your customers know that they're appreciated, send them happy birthday messages, and reminders. So stay in contact with them. And as we talked a little bit and more early, as far as mobile and smart is just growing so much. Most consumers walk around with their cell phone in their hand. We even saw a statistic the other day that a very, very high percentage of people sleep with their cell phones or it's next to their bedside. And the highest open rate seen has been at 6 a.m. And the reason is the first thing that they do is they grab their cell phones, they pop through their emails to see what happened during the night, what do they need to read. And so 41%, which is very, very high, are opening their emails on their cell phone. So it's not just enough to make your website mobile, although that is crucial and vital. I would not redo your website unless it has a mobile application at all, because the mobile is growing so quickly. But then be able to engage with those consumers on the mobile phones, because statistically showing the smart mobile marketing and smartphones is growing just dramatically. It's showing that by the end of 2013, there will be more mobile devices than people on Earth. And it's so true, because people have a work cell phone, a regular cell phone, and they have an iPad. And it's just showing where the consumers are and where the direction as far as marketing is continuing to grow. And so 57% of the consumers out there will not recommend a business that have a poorly designed mobile site. I know for myself, if I'm in my car or somewhere and I'm doing a quick search and I click on someone's website and it's not optimized for mobile where I can just click their phone number and dial it, it's so frustrating. I just think, you know, never mind, I'll go to the next company. So make sure that that's an important part of your focus. So now the question is, we've given you lots and lots of information. It can be sometimes overwhelming. So how can you take the information that we've shared with you today from your website to focusing on valuable keywords and rich content and building the SEO, getting a local presence on Google Places, and then, of course, your social media, those authority links that we've talked about with YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And having a blog is such a key component with pushing out your rich content. And then gathering those databases that are going to be valuable to you ongoing with consumers' emails and cell phones in order you can do email campaigns and continue to communicate with them. So because of this new knowledge that you've learned here today, you'll have a better understanding of how you can optimize your website, get found on Google Local Places, the value and importance of online directories and why your company needs to be in them, and capturing the consumer information. All of this is for one goal in mind, which is to grow your business. And so now I believe Heather is going to have some questions that we've got, and we'll review those and try to answer them.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. We will be getting to all of your questions in just a minute, so if you do have any questions, please go ahead and enter them into the chat box so that we can do our best to answer those. And in the meantime, if you are interested in seeing how your website is doing and how it is ranking, we are offering a free website SEO assessment to the first 25 people that request that. So if that is something you're interested in, please either email us at tcs@businessdirect.com or give us a call at 877-439-9995, and we will get that set up for you. And we do have a few questions. The first one is, if we tag our blogs with these Google keywords, will it help our SEO?
Yes, it will. And something you want to do, a loaded question, if you do want to tag them and make sure you're tagging the right keywords, go back to that keyword tool and make sure it's in the title. The title is important. And also when you tag those keywords, if you can, tag a local search. Don't just put AC repair. You should put AC repair in Tampa, Florida, because it needs to put those integrated together. So yes, tag, but tag with a city included.
Okay, great. Thank you, John. Our second question is, how exactly do you do citations?
The citations, we go, with some of them we have to put manually, and also we do have a software. We have a software where we can put you into about 160 directories, but you can, if you want to do it in-house, you can manually go to yp.com, and there's a section where you can put in your free listing, where you'll say, I want to claim my business, and you can go in and put in your name, your address, your phone number. A few of them will allow you to get a free link. So some you have to pay for a link, but either way, Google still finds that citation, that name, address, phone number. So if you're doing it manually, you want to go to the top online directories, or we're not the only one. There's other companies that can put you in a multitude of directories, but make sure those citations match, name, address, phone number, and that you're going after those keywords. It's imperative that you do that. A great question.
Our next question is hiring an SEO company a necessity?
It's a double-edged sword because you're talking to someone. I believe yes, but at the same time, I'm not saying you couldn't do it internally. And if you're willing to invest in the time of going to a webinar such as this, if you're willing to read the articles and be very involved, you could do it in-house. I'll tell you how you can do it personally, by taking those aggressive steps, but you need to look at what your time's worth. Like within our own company, we don't have one person that can do it all. We have someone that is a specialty just on Facebook, a specialist just on YouTube. We have two individuals that only do online directories because, I might have a knowledge of all of them, but it's always changing, and you need a specialist just in that one area. So a lot of times you want an SEO company that you're basically hiring a company, but you're actually hiring 7 professionals in each of those industries. But if you wanted to do it, if you have the time to have a staff member or personally just make sure you are continuing to educate yourself, yes, you could do it on your own.
Okay, thank you, John.
Great question.
Our next question is, how soon can a website be built?
I'm glad you asked that. There's two answers to that. It could be as fast as 4 to 5 weeks. On average, I'm going to say it would be 8 to 9 weeks. And here's the variable that comes into play: responding to emails. So if we were to create, with our clients, within 2 to 4 days, we have our first mock-up, the landing page of what it will look like. And if we send that over for approval, and we don't hear back from you from a week, we weren't able to go any further until you gave us approval. And then if we say, hey, can you send us some pictures? And we have to wait 4 days or a week and a half, that's time worth, unfortunately waiting. So if the email response is very high, it can be done as short as 4 weeks, maybe 5, depending on how large the site is. And if we're having to wait for emails, it could be anywhere from 8 to 9.
Okay. And our last question here is, are you HubSpot certified?
I actually personally am not HubSpot certified. I think
this is correct, John. That's historically underutilized business, and BDM is a Hub certified company. And so for those of you, yeah, I know you probably couldn't hear her. For those of you that deal with government contracts or maybe schools, universities, things of that nature, it's good to know that you're dealing with a Hub certified company and can get those accreditations that you need for those government contracts.
Yes, sorry, yes, you are correct in that. In regards to like my own personal certificate, have some Google certificates. HubSpot, yes, the company is, and we go to all their trainings. I mean, they have a vast amount of knowledge and a very credible source.
So if that is all, I'll just pop up on the screen real quickly. We do have some information if you'd like to learn more about getting found online, and you can go to our website as well and download it. And just feel free to give us a call or email us, and hopefully we've shared some valuable information with you today that's going to help you grow your business. And
Lisa, we actually have one more question if we can fit it in real quick.
Okay.
Should your YouTube page be branded or just be an account?
I'm actually really glad you said that. You should brand it. We can give you some examples. It's not very difficult. So you want your own YouTube account where if they were to go to your videos, on the left-hand side they could see your business name, your phone number, your website, even your address if you'd like. And it is great branding. So I would highly recommend branding your Twitter, Facebook, and especially YouTube page. Yes.
Great questions.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining us, and be sure to watch for future webinars to come, and have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.